I got a bee in my bonnet about upgrading my Ender 3 this weekend, taking it from an 0.5mm standard nozzle and the single 4010 blower fan to a beast of a machine with a 0.6mm clone CHT nozzle and twin 5015 blower fans. This did not go according to plan. If you haven't seen CNC Kitchen's excellent video on the clone CHT nozzles available on AliExpress and Amazon and elsewhere, definitely go have a look at it. In short, the CHT and the clone aim to increase filament flow rate through a printer's hot end by increasing the filament's surface area to mass ratio. Specifically by splitting the incoming filament up into 3 smaller strands and then heating those 3 strands from all sides. This should provide a flow rate increase of around 50 to even 100% in some cases. And since I'm always looking to print faster, I couldn't resist the siren call of the $2 clone nozzles. Now an Ender 3 comes standard with a 0.4mm nozzle. I've been using an 0.5mm nozzle for the better part of a year now because I tried to upgrade my machine to a clone all-metal hot end, and that also ended in tragedy, but also consumed the last of my 0.4mm nozzles. Hence the 0.5. It's been working pretty well, honestly. So I started the weekend off by collecting a baseline for my printer's flow performance. This is done with Stefan's excellent flow calculator tool that lets you print out a test plate full of flow samples, which you can just then measure on a gram scale and figure out how far off your printer is. It turns out printing 200mm of filament is about 0.6 grams. So my initial results look like this. Not terrible, definitely under extruding, but I can get about 12 to 13 cubic millimeters per second of flow out of the machine. That's actually very typical for a Creality extruder and hot end combo. So then, I eagerly upgraded the machine, swapping from my Satsana version 1 fan duct and the stock 4010 blower to a remixed dual 5015 blower version of the Satsana version 2. I soldered the wires together, fired up the fans, and this, dear viewer, was the moment I first thought I might have made a mistake. Headphone users, you might want to brace yourselves for this one. Me being me, I continued unabated, swapped in the clone CHT nozzle, slid on a fresh silicone sleeve, and ran some flow tests. And this was the second time I thought I may have made a mistake. In hindsight, of course, the reason for this was obvious. These nozzles, the CHT and the clone, are both designed for the E3D V6 hot end. A hot end that's got almost twice the threaded area for the nozzle to absorb heat from. Creality's hot end cribs the thread size and pitch from the V6, but devotes far less area for heat transfer from the heat block to the nozzles via the threads. I continued testing the clone CHT because I hoped, that maybe it wouldn't matter. Dear viewers, it matters. Frustrated, I swapped in a 0.8mm conventional nozzle and flow tested that. 25 cubic millimeters per second. Still somehow not feeling the force of my hubris through all this, I queued up a test bench print using a 0.5mm layer height, reaching peak estimated flow rates of 26 cubic millimeters per second, and started it off. With a fairly clean first layer going down, I closed up my office and hit the sack. This was the third time I thought I may have made a mistake. The new fans were so loud that I had trouble sleeping even with the printer in the other room with the door closed. I finally got to sleep and had a series of stressful dreams. Gee, I wonder why. Only to be awakened by horrible clicking and popping noises from the office. I opened the door, greeted by the smell of molten PLA, and this monstrosity sliding precariously back and forth on the build plate, holding on with just one bed clip. It was 3 a.m. I was feeling the force of my hubris now. Looking at the print, even if it had succeeded, it wouldn't have been a success. The print's surface finish is a horror show, the small feature detail is non-existent, And the bridge that was attempted may as well not have been for all the strands hanging down from it. With that colossal failure under my belt, I bowed to my fate and swapped the printer back to a conventional nozzle, albeit a 0.6mm one. I ran a quick flow test on it, and once again the printer is back to a realm of about 12.5 cubic millimeters per second of flow. I guess it is what it is. Honestly, I'll be sad that it's not faster, but I'm also going to be glad to have my enter's dimensional accuracy back. Maybe I'll try this again sometime, but with a little better preparation. If you enjoyed watching me succumb to my hubris, please give a like and a subscribe down below. Use the little buttons and do the thingy, and join me for the next video. Hopefully, I won't blow the printer up this time. Have a great night.